plays games with Steve
and Angel. Remember, guys, you don't have to be hungry to eat.
They did not hear any of our conversation before that, so there's no context.
And if you're wondering if we took a food break,
fine.
We did not.
Hey, we didn't take a food break.
No. That's just why I wanted to open the episode.
That's a Jay quote, by the way. Remember, you don't need to be hungry to eat.
Yeah.
Remember that.
That's a joke. Mike Sis?
Yeah, you don't have to be alive to eat.
Yeah. You don't have to be alive to serve cunt.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice.
No, I could have sworn I heard Mia's voice, but sorry, I was thinking of like, I think the first time I think someone might have ever heard that phrase was we were at Disneyland walking past Fantasyland, and I don't know why, but he noticed something and he pointed at it. I don't know if he asked something like, "Oh, is it better to go that way?" or something like that, blah blah blah. And just, you know, in Disneyland, I just turned to someone and say, "Did you just say that serves cunt?"
And I was like, what?
Like, I thought like you looked at like the teacup ride and be like, yeah, that serves cunt.
Oh, was that me to you? Like you thought I said it serves cunt?
No, I thought SungWon said that.
Oh.
You might have been with us though.
I think because I remember that. I think I do remember that.
It's like I just thought SungWon said that.
Well, we all learn
Anyway,
somehow.
she's still serving cunt inside your heart.
It's just so then she's still serving cunt.
Yeah, she's
inside your heart.
She's doing that hair flick. Just Nicky boy.
Oh, Ms. Delight.
Speaking of which,
Yeah, that's true.
Is it true that that detective is the real killer?
Also, why'd you accuse me of murder? To be honest, we don't have any definite proof.
don't worry about it.
But he's the only one who could have done it.
But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night?
Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Atmey want to kill Kane Bullard?
He's everyone's favorite thwomp guy. Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom. I need to find some solid proof. And it's gonna happen sooner rather than later.
What, you accuse me of murder?
Why'd you... awkward.
So I gotta go.
It was like a funny prank.
You sometimes you're on the hot seat and you just accuse someone of
It was
murder.
just a prank, Taz.
Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Luke Atmey, please take the stand. Well, how do you do, Sir Lawyer?
Do you think when he was first birthed, the first thing he says,
Yes, and he came out nose first.
And you know what? You know, because we've already gone we've gone that far in the session. That's the sound he makes when he finishes.
oh my god.
I feel like we made that joke, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. Savani!
I'll go get a towel.
Clean yourself up.
I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly.
I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when I would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask Damask.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid even the great Luke Atmey has no idea what you mean. Of course, I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could know what's been going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day long, correct? Being tried as Mask Damask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example.
So you continue to insist that you are, in fact, Mask Damask?
Of course. Very well then, Luke Atmey. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Kane Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time?
I just gotta say, every time when you as the judge say Luke Atmey's name, it's the one time it sounds like your character saying, "Look at me."
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Luke
Atmey. So it just feels like the judge is always just breaking his concentration to say, "Look at me."
Look at me. Pay attention. One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself.
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks.
All right, Mr. Atmey. The night of the murder. Speak. We're listening.
As you wish, Sir Prosecutor.
The alibi.
I was stealing the urn as mask to mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured mask to mask was the same time as the murder. It seems the main point of discussion will be this photo of the crime scene.
Everything else up until now was all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to this picture as well.
Even the great master mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive.
Hold it! Unfortunately, Mr. Atmey, we still have to do your cross-examination.
A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
Where have you heard that before? I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick.
I think he's infringing character trademarks. The only thing that's full of it is his alibi.
Oh no, I subscribe to her Twitch.
Oh, so you're a big fan.
Yes.
It's your Oshi.
I'm her #1 pledger, or whatever you call it.
Oh, I just received a raid from another foolish fool. Expects me to plug them.
I was saying there, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was a pathetically easy job.
Hold it! I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point?
Hi.
That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you sent out the card after you began your security watch, right?
Indeed, there was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am!
Hey, Nick, isn't there something odd about this in his voice just now? Detective Atmey was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that's true. It is kind of odd.
Could take some words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness.
When I see Ace Detective, it makes you think, oh, my favorite movie, Pet Ventura Ace Detective.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can I'll tell this story real quick.
Sure.
I was at a convention. I was tabling at a convention years ago, and a friend of mine, who's also like an artist who tables, she was like, "Oh yeah, there's someone who comes by my table. I should send him your way. I think you'll like. You guys have similar tastes." And then eventually, this guy was brought over my table. I was like, "Oh, awesome! You got like a bunch of things I like." He's like, "Oh, you got Ace Detective." And Ace Detective. No, that's like it's called Ace Attorney, and it's like, oh yeah. I remember playing that for the PSP. And I'm like, it was like, it was weird. Like I wasn't even being like kind of like cordial. I was like talking like I was Homer Simpson. I was like, PSP, what are you talking about? No, it was DS. I was just like,
oh my god,
kind of just like. So like it's become a running gag with
it's that Konami game.
Yeah. For years, just to be like, yeah, Ace Detective
for the PSP.
For the PSP.
Wow.
Thank you, whoever you are. I don't know who that person is at all, but it was just so funny. It stuck with me. So by photograph, you mean the piece of evidence here? Is that correct?
Indeed, it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime. When you think about it, it's really odd. You say that almost as if you had this picture taken on purpose.
Objection! He was simply caught by the very camera that he had set up. We all have days like that.
Indeed, it turned out that there was no such thing as the perfect crime after all. Life is truly an ironic thing, a sad blue melody.
Looks like I'd better gather more information for now. If he's truly the killer, there's got to be something phony in that photo.
The time in which the camera captured it was the same time as a murder.
Hold it! About the camera that took this photograph.
Oh, come now. It's all too clear what you're thinking.
Huh?
You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you?
Oh.
I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered.
I see.
Looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious.
So this alibi is false?
It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security.
But I'm not really spotting anything unusual. There are two
There are two possibilities. Want to say it together?
either the mask. Okay.
Either the mask in the photo is a fake, or the photo itself is.
I was sending the earnest message just as I said it would. I didn't press this one, so I'm gonna.
So this photograph is the proof, correct?
Indeed it is.
And the man in the photo is certainly wearing a mask.
Just want to get a good look at it. So it is like 2 minutes just before 1, and it's like 40. The 43 is a memosecond, or what is it? A nanosecond, millisecond. Okay.
That is why I'm called Mask to Mask.
But conveniently, that also means that there is no way to tell who this really is.
What do you mean?
Objection! Ha! Are you saying that this is not, in fact, Luke Atmey? That it could be an accomplice dressed up as Mask to Mask to create an alibi?
Oh ho, what an interesting idea. Are you saying that I, Lone Wolf Luke, had an accomplice?
I mean, we don't have anyone like that. And it truly isn't Desiree, apparently. I'll give it up.
If Luke Atmey was at KB Security during the murder, then the Mask to Mask in this picture has to be a fake.
Then there really was an accomplice.
But right now, I have no idea who it was.
I don't have any idea right now either.
Baseless objections are just what that guy wants. There's got to be another way. I'm going to find it.
There's got to be another way. I had more than enough time. So they made a lot of...
Press everything?
I think I did.
I'm going to help you out. Go to the next one. Press this one again.
Press it again. Oh.
Yeah.
Hold it! So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here, is that correct?
Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime.
The very thing that proves you committed the crime.
Lordy Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Kane Bullard unless I had an accomplice.
Come on. What is it? Come on. Think long and hard about that night.
Ooh.
No, not that night.
The basement warehouse and this picture that supposedly captures it. It's got to be here.
I mean, he did say, come on, just like that.
Yeah.
Is there something funny about this picture?
You bet there is.
Are you implying that this picture is a fake?
You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night, before the theft took place. And there's something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night.
Okay.
Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? Say out loud what you're thinking here.
So we were talking about like the position of the Ami face statue here.
Okay.
And he remembers that night that it was there, but then Adrian claimed that she didn't move it. So then why would he move it there? What do I find funny? And I don't know, maybe Is it that the blob doesn't really match from the other stain? I don't know, but I think that's like the discretion, and that's the only evidence I have. So I think that's what I want to point out. Or is it the fact that we can't really see that there's a stain on the box? I can't really tell from here. Is there a stain on it? I wish I could zoom in on it. It's either the stain or this. Those are my two things.
Okay.
From your memory from last night. I want to point out this because I don't want to stray from that thought.
Take that.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was like, well,
I was like, the angel way is, it's this answer, unless... no.
well, I was thinking, it's like, well, what is definitely visible in this photo? Like, what is like, because you're like, oh, I don't see any paint marks on that box. I'm like, but you do see the other thing. That's...
Yeah.
The funny part is right here.
Why, this is a blood stain. Ah, blood! Now this case is getting interesting.
Not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint.
Oh, well, I'm bored. Oh, just paint. And peach colored at that.
From blood to peaches. The judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. Problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen.
There should be something there that's not there anymore. Eh?
What's there, Mama?
Shh. I'll tell you when you're older, well, Mr. Wright. What is supposed to be in this picture instead of the paint stains?
It's hard.
Take that!
Me, my big ass.
The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Stop talking about my mom's ass. Oh, well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime.
You want to do a silly voice? You don't have to.
Okay. On the day of the crime, around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain of trading hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it.
I myself was there the night...
The
night the theft took
You
place.
like my new flashlight?
Saw the statue in that spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there.
Objection!
No.
But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the court.
I was there too. No, Larry's in this case. You can't both be in it. Perhaps it was somehow pushed there accidentally.
Your Honor, the statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy.
Oh my.
Because of the big ass. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Ha! In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night?
Can you do it, Nick?
Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it?
Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime?
Who moved it? Mr. Mask. Well, Adrian claims it wasn't her. Desiree couldn't be there. Larry Butts couldn't be there. Goto couldn't be there. He was getting murdered.
You murdering dog?
It was the gumshoe. It was... who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? I guess it was Look At Me.
Take that! The one who moved the statue is none other than Look At Me.
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions?
It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night.
That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue?
The reason for moving the golden statue. Here's where our battle really begins.
Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue?
The reason can be found here in this photograph. Look at me. You pretended to be Mask to Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. This photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If the statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. Remember when you used to do that?
Anyone?
You know, drop off film at a store?
And like the people in the comments like, what's film?
What store?
I know drugs, but that is why you moved the statue.
Everything was always digital, right?
A single fatal flaw.
Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does this lie exist?
Oh God.
Oh God.
Good question. Now I'm not sure. Professor, can I have a hint, please?
Do you understand why Luke Atmey moved that statue? What do you think his motive was for doing that?
For doing that. My first thought is that like the statue is like reflective and like maybe would have like shown something, but I'm not sure that's it. The statue had the sword on it. I guess they wanted it to match.
Okay, let me ask you this. Luke Atmey's whole plan is what?
To get an alibi.
And his alibi needs to be what?
That he was here.
Right. He needs to be here at this specific time on this specific day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why would that statue make that complicated? If the statue were there...
Yeah.
Well, what? Why would he need to move it?
If the statue was there... I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm completely lost.
Okay. So, do you remember what happened with that statue?
It was holding a sword that he used to clobber someone with. It was blocking that stain because Adrian didn't want anyone to see it.
Adrian moved it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, basically, do you think this photo was taken on that actual day at that time?
Ooh, probably not. Like, if they were there for weeks, he could have taken it in advance.
So then why would he need to move that statue then?
Why would he need to move it? Because it didn't match the photo that he took earlier.
Okay, so what is the lie in this photo then?
The time, I think. Yeah.
Take that. Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you exactly what I mean.
Next time.
No.
Oh, never mind.
On the night in question, Luke Atmey went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time. But he will be next time. I'm kidding, we're still going.
But what does that have to do with the statue being moved?
Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was the statue placed besides the warehouse door?
Well,
Besides? Should it just be beside?
I think beside would be smoother, yeah.
Yeah.
The statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint.
Exactly. Luke Atmey had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim. And so, in order to create an alibi for that time, He took this picture days before the murder took place.
What the?
Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet.
Ah.
So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atmey must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak.
Where are these sayings coming from?
Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be. And that is why Luke Atmey had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match with the way it had been in his photo.
Ah! Order, order, Mr. Atmey, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? The data for the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime.
Objection! It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with that data.
Ah! Order, order, Mr. Godo, what is the meaning of this? Godo, I warned you about making me wait. Now put that coffee down.
My 11th cup.
Oh, God.
He's just tap dancing under the table, just like fucking jittery.
I promise to drink no more than 17 during a trial.
Oh, my God.
Which means I'm still good to the last drop.
However, the defense has a very good point.
A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think you've got your points mixed up with other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match. That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied.
Which is?
That it's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by the chains of maybe, ouch, can never reach their dreams.
That's very true.
No way. Don't fall for that, Your Honor.
Hey, Mr. Damask.
Yes?
If there's no funny business in your actions as Mask the Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy. So let's hear it.
Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
Well, we'll hear about it today. Let's keep going.
What?
This is edging.
Edgeworthing.
Oh.
All right. So, so we're still going. All right. The Sacred Urn heist.
I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box, and Savari, it was then sent to the
And I
warehouse.
put that box inside another box.
Hence, I smashed it with a hammer. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handled security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
I'm imagining his whole story. So he was born, and then they go to visit him like in like the nursery. Like by the time they go to his crib, they hear a little. That's all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it?
Yeah. But we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave.
Tomorrow.
Today.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Witness, you're sure there are no mistakes this time in the ending of the episode? Savari. I'm just a Pokemon now. Savari. Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
And we will begin
Oh, yeah.
tomorrow.
Actually?
Tomorrow.
Okay. We'll do this tomorrow.
Savari.